Hold on, the volume's all the way down.
No fade. I want a hard drop.
Just a hard stop. Cosby,
Hello and welcome to another
Tourette's.
Woodshop podcast.
That's my dance. That's what
Mike
it's called.
Coffey of Coffee Custom Builds, Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, and Peter Kapar of Petrie's Workshop. You can find us all, as well as the podcast, on Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome to take 2 of episode 84 of Another Woodshop podcast. The Tourette's of podcast. Nice podcast. Nice hat.
Lovely podcast.
Lovely podcast.
No,
Why you got to throw Mike under the bus like that? That's
big
mean.
thanks to Dan Dunlap's bowel movements. We are able to
Bowel movements
to bring
and
the
check
show
cashing.
twice in one night.
We had
payday loan. Yeah. Anyway,
some technical
big thanks to our-
difficulties, but that's
Yeah,
okay. Do you know
Dan-
why?
Dan was recording as Pete put it, his Tamagotchi
Yes,
instead of his
Tamagotchi was
Yetis.
his recording device. Yep.
Yeah, no, his T184 Texas Instruments calculator was his readout. Everything was a mess.
Lossless audio.
Lossless audio, and if you turn it upside down, it spells boobs.
Boobs.
So, big thanks to
You
our
guys,
patrons.
I paid a lot of money for that Texas Instruments calculator, so back off.
But you can't.
Can
Anyway,
you
big
put a
thanks to our
price on
patrons.
that?
$40.
Huge shout out to our
$49.99.
patrons.
No.
Dan, huge shout out to our patrons.
Shout them out right now. Say something nice about our patrons.
I love you all.
Dan? Okay, that was good enough. And we're not going to say much more about it, except for that if you wanted to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/another woodshop podcast and check it out. Also, we have a segment we do on the show called Reviews, where we read reviews. And there's a guy on our show. His name is Dan. Let me make sure he's here and not in the bathroom. Yeah, he's here right now.
Oh, he's
so
here, okay.
he
Dan,
he
check.
sings a little song. He actually wrote this song, apropos of nothing. He just came up with a song one day, and we were like, this is definitely going to be our review segment lead in. So here we go right now. It's this.
Oh, Black Betty, Ram Lamb.
It's just beautiful.
Fun fact, that song is about Max.
I was
So
going to say,
Max Jensen, this goes out to you.
Fun fact before you go on with your fun facts. I wrote that song, and Reba reached out to me and asked me if she could use it, and I was like, no.
I'm Reba. Your friends are smart. Anyway, this podcast is from GChive88, which I assume stands for Garrett.
Did you just
Chive.
say this
This
podcast?
podcast.
No,
believe
that's
you
what I
did.
said, but I didn't mean it. Obviously, that this review
This
is
is
brought
funny.
to you by GChive.
It's fun
Yeah,
to
this is
point
much
out
better.
mistakes.
Yep, this is what we do. It's better because then I don't have to edit anything out with I have to hire a professional voice actor to say the right
We
word.
can't
It's
afford
much cheaper. I'm trying
Nick
to save
Key.
money.
Like, no.
Yeah, Nick
Key.
Can't afford him.
The headline or the title of this review is
This is
It
going
Made Me
well.
Poo, which is odd because Dan is here. I spent many a few nights.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
a tough
checks out.
It's a tough opening to this one, but I spent many a few nights not being able to pass, my food. I had lost it all and missed a few episodes of AWP. And after years of research, I found the source of my brown problem. This doesn't even make sense.
Keep going.
This
Keep
was-
going.
The words aren't the words you're supposed to use in a string together. Anyway,
You're
and
describing our
wouldn't you know
podcast,
it,
please.
It was the lack of AWP. Seconds after I put it on, my pipes were churning. And praise the good ones, I was relieved. Listen, we really did basically beg for reviews, but let's do better than this, guys.
Hang on. Is it 5 stars?
It is
I
5
believe it's
stars.
5
Thank you
stars.
so
Mission
much.
accomplished.
We really appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah, mission accomplished. So,
That review.
you know what? Pete
It's
brings
fire.
up a really good point. As long as it's 5 stars, the words don't have to make sense next to each
No.
other.
I really
It's
appreciate you
fine.
guys doing this. I know it takes the minutes out of your life to do this, and
Just-
I'm not
just-
being
we sound
sarcastic.
like
But it's to go out of a task that you're doing and go, I'm gonna leave these guys a review.
Especially when you're constipated like this guy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really appreciate it. Please keep
Just
leaving
lay down
really
words.
obscure reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please just get
The
them.
remote fly butter handle
You know,
tree
that-
pipe.
just if you wanna mix it
AWP
podcast,
podcast.
I want you to-
Episode Y. Rhyme
some-
hat carve by.
Yeah. Why don't you guys start asking podcast questions
Just say
in
words.
reviews? How about that? Just writing in like,
Sofa
hey guys,
chisel car hat.
what do you think of hide glue used on veneers? And like, but that's the review, 5 stars.
No, what?
stars.
I
We don't
want
care what
Mike.
it is.
I want Mike to keep talking. He's just
Blue
throwing
key
out
up,
random words.
nightmare. Gas hat, word nightmare.
I
Purple
think-
night
wait.
fart bugle.
Mike, if we ever get one of those, we're just gonna use text to speech.
Kaflooey.
We're just gonna use
Remember
text to speech to
Kaflooey?
read it. That's it.
We do need to get Google speech to read it.
Kaflooey.
I'm reading Tada magazine.
Tom magazine. Oh,
Kaflooey. All right, no, this is off
Bippity.
the rails already.
Hey, let's get
Bippity.
serious.
Thank
Let's
you.
get serious.
Let's get serious. Okay, so I guess we better talk about. Well, I guess usually we go into what's on my bench, so I guess we're gonna have that one play right now. I don't know if everything seems kind of sideways right now, but I think we're just gonna do that because that's what we do here. What's on my bench? Go now, go.
Do it.
What's on my bench?
Outstanding. Okay, so our week was pretty much intertwined with each other.
awesome.
Very
And
intertwined.
It was amazing.
It was.
We I guess we'll since Pete hosted, let's let Pete go first.
I suppose. All right.
Oh no! I want your impressions first. and
No
then I'll-
English.
No,
You want me to go first?
Yeah, Mike, go first. You're the storyteller, and then Dan, you go bow ties.
I was-
I love you. I'm kidding.
So Pete bought a house. This is the start of the story. Pete bought a house, and
way back when.
Dan and I didn't actually believe that he did. We thought that he was lying and trying to be cool.
See
No,
when I believe it.
Pete bought a house. Yeah. Okay, Pete. I'm sure you bought a house. No. So Pete bought a house, and like when Pete bought the house, we were excited for him, and we decided we were going to fly out there, do the podcast, check out Pete's house, help him set up some stuff. And we got that plan all set up, and then like we lock up the date, and then like a week later, they announced Maker Camp, and we decided we were gonna, go to Maker Camp because
Not throw a meetup at my house.
Yeah, not throw meat up. Yeah, we don't want to throw any meat up at Pete's house. His brother-in-law lives there with him. So if you're throwing up your meat, okay. Oh, you're like catching it.
That took
I
a
was thinking about
turn.
something else. I thought it was like Little Smokies or something.
Bear Den.
Pete's throwing up Little Smokies. Yeah, Bear Den. No, so we went to Dan and I flew out to Pete's house. Dan got out there before me. I had to kind of truncate my trip a bit because I got a lot going on right now.
You
But
just bought a
we went out
house.
to Pete's house. Yeah, I just bought a house. We got Dan has all the time in the world. He's got nothing going on. So he was
I got
able to stay out there I think he was there for 3 weeks. But
Yeah,
no,
it was
I got
3
out there-
months actually.
Dan lives with Pete now. No, I got out there on Friday.
He's still
morning.
here. That's my living
I took a
room.
red. Yeah, I took a red eye out to Pete's, and Pete got me in the morning. And man, it was just really nice going to Pete's house. Pete's house is really nice. He's in a nice neighborhood. Emma and Pete were really good hosts. We Friday was exhausting. I slept like 1.5 hours on the plane, and I was up all night for that. So got to Pete's. We just kind of hung out. Pete made an amazing smoked a bunch of ribs. It was amazing. Dan had a lot of ribs. He
A lot.
basically poisoned himself with ribs.
Guys, you
And
can have
but
rib
we ended up
poisoning.
sitting around the
That's not a thing.
Oh,
Dan tried.
tell that
You
to
got
the
as close
sounds
as you
your
could
belly was
without
making.
Yeah, it was like help, and then one time it's like I'm Reba,
I'm
but we
Friends are smart. They stopped eating.
no, your friend. No, we hung out at Pete's, hung around the fireplace, and then or the fire pit, and then Saturday we went to Maker Camp. And I don't want to talk about Maker Camp. I kind of want us all to get to that point and talk about it at the same time, like round table, because it was really great. Like
Just talk about
I think
it.
hearing
Round
from
table.
everybody is going to be the
I feel
no.
like our
Sure, we can do it now. We drove out there. It was like 2.5 hours, and the drive was. What's up, Dan?
I was
You're
thinking
moving
about
your fingers around like you guys. Oh,
I was thinking about taking another drink of beer.
helicopter poop.
okay, all right. Dunlap's the only one to achieve it. No, they. The legend is true. The chosen one. No. So we drove out to Maker Camp, and man, what an incredible time that was. I mean, all these people. I mean, going out there with Dan and Pete was great. Oh, Emma was with us too. Can't forget that. Emma was driving out there with us. It was a great time. The drive was great. It was just a really nice time getting out there. And then we get to the place, and all these people from the community that I just love. I love seeing these people. I love hanging out with them. It's such a great time. It was out at the Blackthorn Resort in East Durham, about 2.5 hours from Pete's, but just the feeling of like community, and it's a bunch of people who love the same thing, right? We all love making, and it was just fantastic. We ended up spending a lot of time around the Total Boat booth just because it was
like the most fun booth,
like the main entrance. Well, yeah, it was like in the main entrance, but it was like it was a lot of like there was a lot of congregating going on there. The food was near there. The people were just happened to be in that area, and it just ended up being a big like an apex of everyone hanging out. It was just really cool. So I know I was trying to think of a big
apex.
Word. It was a nexus. It was a maker nexus. Anyway, but yeah, we were everyone was just hanging out there, and it was just such a great time. Everyone's hanging out. All the people over at Total Boat are great. Not to plug Total Boat, but I mean, we work with Total Boat. I really do like those people a lot. Kristen, Mike over there, Total Boat Mike, he's awesome. And then got to talk to Graz, and then it was just great. Jackman was there, and Pat, and Derek from Malden, got to meet him. Me and him talk on Instagram a lot. We haven't met in person. It was just really awesome, just meeting all these people and saying hi to people that I talk to all the time. So, and Ethan was the MC out there. He did a great job MCing and hosting out there. There's so many people we ran into. I mean, it was just
Barbara
great.
was there.
Like it was
she
just
didn't
great.
murder us.
Adrian was there.
He's super short, by the way.
He was just
super
great.
Short.
It's
She's
so
great.
hard to. It's so hard to put into words, like without sounding like an idiot or missing people's names. Like I know I did for sure. It's just tons of people out there. It was so great. It was just such a great time. It sucked that that was the worst part, is we were only out there for one day. Next year, we're already planning on how we're going to make it happen for next year.
But for the weekend,
we're going to be there a day early. Yeah, we're going to be for the whole thing for sure. Like I want to get there a day early, just kind of hang out. I do like the idea of renting a Winnebago. That actually,
get a Winnebago and just park somewhere.
Whoa!
But I legit think if we rented a room, Dunlap could just drive out. No, that'd be a pain in the neck. It'd probably be cheaper just to rent a Winnebago and from your place, Pete, and then drive out there. Yeah, we could all go in on it.
My Subaru is gonna have a hard time pulling it.
Winnebagos are.
Oh, that's RVs, right. They're attached to the front part. Whatever. Yeah,
they have their own motor.
Oh, we just camp out. We just camp out, guys.
Nah, dog.
No, Mike doesn't camp.
No, I camp. I just don't want to for that.
No, I hear you.
That sounds horrible. But talk about, you guys next. I mean, I can talk more about my week,
and
I will.
Let's hear more about your week. Yeah, like because you came back and you kind of hit the ground running. So just. Yeah,
I got back.
Two highlights and one little highlight.
I got back Sunday late, wrapping up stuff with the house. The house went on the market today. We're already getting a ton of interest on the house, which is amazing. I'm really excited for that to hit the market and just kind of be done with that chapter of our lives. That's going to feel really good, like getting rid of that house. Not getting rid of it, but still, moving on to this house. We really love it here. But I got to spend time in the shop this week, getting it ready. My goal this week has just been to make enough space to work on the 3 tables I've gotten there right now that I got to get going on. The customer actually messaged me today for the poker table. And they're like, hey, are we going to get this thing this weekend? And I completely understand where they're coming from. They have been very patient with me on that. And I told them, yes, it's going to get done this weekend. So I'm going to get that done. And then I got to start on some other stuff, but yeah, I'm starting to get my shop put together. I trimmed a bunch of trees so they can run the power to the house for the shop power. I got to get a trench dug next week, which will be happening hopefully early, starting in the week next week. And then once the electricians are out, they're going to set the box for the disconnect with the meter. And then they're going to run the line through the house, down the trench over to the shop, and then set up the sub panel over there. And then I should have power pretty soon.
And you disconnected your dial-up internet, right? Like you just went ahead and disconnected it today?
Yeah. When we were dropping the tree. So I was there's a telephone line and it was swinging real low, like maybe 12 feet off the ground.
You know who else swings low? Reba.
I'm Reba. If you don't know what we're talking about, look up SNL, Reba McEntire, Andy Samberg, and prepare to have your best night of your life.
You're welcome.
So the telephone line, we don't use a telephone line here. I mean, it's 2021. I mean, I don't think
nobody does
a home phone. Honestly, as an adult, I've never had a home phone line. As an adult, I've lived on my own since I was 17 and a half.
How do you fax stuff?
Yeah.
With a fax line.
Yeah. No, I'm just doing dead silence for Dan's bad joke. So.
I thought we lost you.
No, we're good.
Right.
I just wanted to bring as much attention to the fax line joke that Dan. No, I've been meaning to drop the telephone line since we got the house a few weeks ago. I've been meaning to disconnect it from the box and just spool it up and put it at the pole. And by the pole, I of course mean Pete. I meant to put it over at the Pete. And but today, lucky me, I was trimming one of the limbs for the power to come through, and one of the big limbs fell on there and tore it out for me. So
nice of them. Like, hey, while I'm up here, you want me to get this? I'll pull it down.
Yeah, I got this. No, so anyway, just getting the whole week is definitely overshadowed with going to Pete's, seeing Dan and Pete, and Maker Camp definitely overshadows everything. But also, like, for like the content side, it's definitely that. But for like my personal life, I'm really excited about the shop and really excited about the house and moving on to the next stuff. So it's been a really good week, really busy week. So who wants to go next?
Dan.
So
Danielle.
Let's talk about my personal life there for a second. Not a whole lot going on. There's that. I had a vasectomy scheduled. Got canceled. Got canceled. So that's not happening.
Why
there's
set
that.
that up?
Did they hear about the helicopter poop?
I had a vasectomy. Scheduled. Canceled.
No, they sent us a letter. They said, well, this vasectomy that you had scheduled for the last 2 months. Yeah.
Vex?
I can't say the word. Don't.
So you get the shot and then they snip it?
Yeah, and they're like, well, the doctor's not actually going to be in that day. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm glad I scheduled everything around that.
I'm glad I
What did you have going on?
Other than that, I got things going on in the shop. I finished those slide tables. I made the crate for them. I contacted freightpros.com. They came and
Freight Bros.
Huh?
Freight Bros.
Freight Bros. Shot.
Shot.
I don't understand your jokes.
You're older than we are. It's okay.
I don't get it.
AARP.
You don't know what a bro is?
No, I don't get it. So I went to Freight Pros with a P.
AARP. Denny's coupons.
Freight AARP. So I went to freightpros.com. I set up the freight schedule.
The
What
freight.
have you.
Yeah.
With the website.
No, that makes sense.
They showed up today. It was a pretty smooth process. I will say
awesome.
that there was a little confusion there, but we don't need to get into that. They showed up. They took it. Everything's good. So hopefully that arrives in good shape. This is my first crate/freight shipment. So
Crate and freight.
yeah, crate and freight. This is my first one of those. So fingers crossed. Hopefully
It's
everything
technically
arrives.
your second. You did ship to me.
Well, you paid for that, so I don't care.
But you boxed it up and put it together, and it was
Yeah,
somewhat okay.
I could have wrapped it in like tinfoil. Didn't matter. So
Yeah, you could have put
you
something
paid
nice
for
in there
it.
for
You
me.
could. You paid for it, so I don't care. So
You break, you buy.
hopefully that arrives in one piece. We'll see. I'm still in contact with my client. So, other than that, I feel like there was something that went on this week that I just can't put my finger on. There was something that went on. Did we get together? Did we do things?
That was last week.
I went to New Jersey and I
Oh.
hung out with Pete and Mike showed up and we went to Maker Camp.
New Jersey.
That was a good time. That was a super good time. All right, to be super serious, like Maker Camp was amazing. I cannot
Heck
wait
yeah.
to go back next year. And we've already talked about this, like personally. We're either gonna rent an Airbnb close to the place, or I'm hauling my
Winnebago.
camper there. I can haul my camper there. It sleeps 11.
How long would that drive be for you, Dan?
About 15,
gotta be like
18
15 hours? Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
long
it's gonna
time.
be a
dude.
long time.
Let's just rent one.
Let's just bang this out now. Let's just
Let's figure
hammer
it
it
out.
out
Pete,
now.
pull up the rates. I'm just joking.
Pete's doing the no, not no.
No
You
English.
guys were serious.
No English.
But anyways, Maker Camp was amazing.
Yeah, it was
I met
amazing.
so many amazing people. Like
For the first time, but the second time.
no,
'Cause you know
yeah,
about
exactly.
Northwest
For the
Con.
first time, but the second time, you meet so many people online, and you kind of interact with them, and you make friends with them, and it's really hard to like put a personality with a name online until you meet them in
Face
person.
to face is huge.
Face to face is everything. And I'm gonna say this like
Everything.
Adrian, Barbara really stick out in my mind. Like you've called in on the show and you've made a little character and everything, but meeting you in person, it was actually really fun and really phenomenal.
It was
and
nice to meet Adrian in person for sure.
I really appreciate that. And that's just like one little snippet of what we experienced on the weekend. So Maker Camp was so amazing. I cannot wait to go back next year. Cannot wait.
Lee. We met Lee Omen.
Oh man.
Pizza
Oh,
met Lee.
there's so many names. I
there's
can't
so many,
even
yeah.
like
Yeah,
I can't even like
so many.
yeah. Pete, I want you to like save me from this.
No, I mean, I'm just gonna keep reiterating everything you guys said. I'm gonna go a little more into detail because it really was an awesome event. We're actually a good chunk of our show today is gonna be talking about this. But the guys came out. I couldn't be happier to have them here. Me and Emma love hosting. We finally have the place to do it. Having these guys out here, being able to cook for them, have a good time. Like we're all best friends. Like we could bicker, we could argue, we could make jokes, but we motivate each other. We're literally best friends. Me and Dan, we sat the night before we picked up Mike, like for like probably 6 hours around a fire pit, just watching TikToks and just like hanging out, saying them to each other, making passionate love.
Sweet love.
TikTok love. But like we just hung out, did nothing. The next day, Mike comes over. We all just like we're BSing, chilling. You know, we had ribs, we had a long day, and then they just fell asleep around a fire because they were both exhausted. I'm a man. So
it was a long day.
It was a long day, but like we just feel comfortable. We hang out. We do what we want to do. We did some projects in the shop. Mike was nice enough to help me out with some wiring up with the spindle. I've just been in like no rush because I have no like CNC jobs. I want to get this thing set up, but I was just excited to just hang with you guys. So that was really fun. But man, like I cannot stress enough, like these guys did, how fun Maker Camp was, because you hear these things about the woodworking shows or Workbench Con, the big one, that you go to, and it's all about marketing. It's who you know, and like bring your business cards, bring your stickers, bring whatever. Maker Camp was a meetup with brands there. There was only about 5, 6 brands. Maybe there was more, probably about 10 brands, but the ones that were really like you saw Total Boat. There was Lincoln Electric, Shaper. It wasn't about that. There was a couple brands there, but Carolina was there, and then I can't even tell you the other smaller ones. But it wasn't about that. That's why, like, hanging out at the Total Boat tent, that was a hangout spot. That was a hit spot because the staff is actually a lot of fun. They were constantly rotating demos, and they were like super stoked to just share the new. They had a bunch of new products there. They had the wood honey, the UV stuff. They had the foam. That's actually not a new product. I found out they just like been pushing it now. Super cool stuff that they were demoing, and like it was just fun. We went up to the tent. We were like hanging out, talking to Kristen, and they poured us beers into Total Boat.
Total Boat cups.
So we're sitting there with like Total Boat quart cups for like mixing epoxy, just like pounding beers out of them.
I had a Total Boat soup.
He had a little one. He had the little like, I just have to fill a knot. Me and Mike had the Real Man beers. They're all the same size, just different. So like that was great. Meeting everyone in person, like I think meeting strangers on the internet has this negative connotation because like growing up, it was like meeting people
the murders
chat room, and like you would get murdered or whatever. Or Chris Hansen comes out of the room like, oh my god, I thought I was meeting Dan.
Take a seat.
Yeah, but take a seat. Oh my god, like welcome to Wood Talk. Oh no, but. It's not that anymore. You really get a feel for how these people are via Instagram, watching their stories, talking to them. Like some of my closest friends were there, and I have never met them in my life until that weekend. It's the same thing with Mike and Dan. We were really close, and then we finally met up, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. Yeah, that's why we're friends. Like I genuinely thought Adrian was going to murder us. She did not. She was super polite about it too. Kidding. No, like meeting her was great. Emma was there. First of all, people were like, Emma, oh Pete. Like, wait, what?
Oh, Pete's here too.
Pete's here too. Like, I remember when Dan and I are walking with Emma, and Mary Lou just like beelines for Emma. Like, oh my God, Emma! Like she starts talking like, "Hey, Dan, Pete," and we're like, "Huh, fine." But that was a lot of fun. The food was super mediocre, like very much field kitchen. Resort is a strong word.
Real bad.
It was a solid 3 out of 5 stars. Like camp kitchen
Bad.
type. Yeah, beers were good. They were
Real
in a
bad.
can, pre-served, good stuff.
Beers weren't bad.
We got to do some cool projects. Like Mike turned a pen and he donated it to veterans because he's such a cool guy. He just didn't want to show us how he messed up. I got to play with the Shaper Origin, which was really cool. I really wanted to do some welding, but the lines were, it was pretty busy there. But just watching like metalworking, forging, all that. And then, you know,
I didn't do anything now that you mention it.
You made connections and had beer.
I made connections and memories.
We got to meet and talk to Jimmy. Well, we teased this
Jimmy
on Jimmy D Resta. I think it's
Di
Jimmy,
Resta.
It's like Dominic Resta, I think is the full name. So yeah, we talked to Jimmy DeResta and
Vincent Marvin DeResta.
So he is actually joining us in 2 weeks. He's going to be on a podcast. As long as everything goes well, unless something comes up, but that's the plan right now. We're also going to have some other great guests that Mike kind of teased in a pre-show, so you'll have to listen to that or watch it, unless he wants to share. I don't know.
I would say toss it back to Mike.
Yeah. Who else we got lined up?
Or DeResta is going to be on the show on the 28th, like Pete said. That's 11 November 28th. No, October 28th.
October.
And then Graz is going to be on the show on what did I say? Oh, November 11th,
Yep.
Thursday 11th. So we got him locked up for that. Pat LaPerriere. He's going to be on the show when he's done moving. He just messaged me while we were
Oh, he's
talking.
moving?
So him and his
Is he
lady
moving in
bought
with
a house
Pat
and
or
they're-
Paul?
No, him and his lady bought a place and they're just dealing with all the move stuff. So that stuff sucks. So we'll get him on soon.
Super exciting.
We're gonna start to try to pack the holiday season up with people in here. I think 'cause, that's on me. I got to get that figured out. So
No, that's
anyway,
awesome.
yeah,
dope.
it's very
That's
There's
cool.
some really cool
dope.
stuff coming in the next couple of months, guys. Just stay tuned. Keep hanging with us, and make sure to check out join us in a live the pre-shows, because
I do want to tease something. Something we used to do on the show is
We used to be
coming
funny.
back. Yes, we used to tell jokes.
tell
so
jokes. Oh, they're coming
Eventually,
back.
after the first of the year, no, something that used to be a staple of the show. It appears as though both parties want it to happen. So that's the giveaways. So it looks like we're going to be having the giveaways back pretty soon. So I'm working on some stuff in the background right now, but hopefully,
And the crowd
we'll have
goes
that all
wild.
lined up soon.
Mhm.
So I think it's mutually beneficial and everyone's on the same page with it. So we'll have
Ayo.
more about that
Ayo. Super
ASAP. So that'll be good. Hopefully we can get that. Well, my goal is to have that lined up before Thanksgiving.
That'd be cool.
So we can go into the holidays with everything lined up for that and kind of.
I think the people miss that. I really do.
I mean,
That was
it's
a
good
that was
part
a
of the
very
show.
good
It was
like
cool
It was a good way to like
It's
give
a
back to the
showstopper.
community. Like,
for sure.
you know, the podcast is fun. It's a blast. We love hanging out with everyone. We love that everyone supports us. But like being able to like have these brands help out and throw some product at you guys is super awesome.
For sure.
And to do it, you know, every week, every few weeks, every month, whatever it might be, it feels good.
Totes my
So-
goats.
Totes
It
of
does.
your goats. Yeah.
Yeah, all the goats.
So back to me. Thanks for tossing it back, Mike.
Oh,
Maker Camp equals
Back to you.
awesome. We missed
Man, that's what
a
we threw it back
big
to you
show
for,
though.
huh? Outstanding.
Yeah, we missed the giant dinosaur getting set on fire.
oh, I'm so
Yeah,
bummed.
Um,
that sucks.
Wow.
I
I
wanted to see
watched-
that
I
so
While
watched-
bad.
Adrian ran around in a dinosaur costume.
I watched so many stories because I felt like
Oh, cool.
I couldn't be there. I really
Such
wanted to be
FOMO.
there. That seemed like so much fun.
Yeah, it would have been good. That's why we want to go for the whole weekend. It's also, you know, we had a 2.5 hour drive and like it was a bit of a hike.
I think
So
we need to talk about like who made it. Like who are the makers
Michael
that were
Alm.
making the giant dinosaur? Michael Alm
Michael Alm.
and
I'm not sure who else, to be honest.
That's
other
it.
people.
He made it by himself. Good job.
There was
But it was
definitely
like-
at least 2 or 3 other makers there helping
When it
him.
was
I don't
like
know. I
a
feel terrible. I should know who it was, but
20-foot or 30-foot dinosaur
It was
that they
big.
started on fire the
30-foot, yeah.
last day of Maker Camp, and it was like the big send off. It was,
so sick. So cool.
oh, I'm so bummed I couldn't be there. I
They had
I saw
karaoke
so many
Friday
stories.
night. They had a live band. We were literally leaving right as the live band started. We left at, I think,
Oh, yeah.
12:30, 11 o'clock.
There was
almost.
karaoke. I really wanted to rock like Ram Jam Black
I would
Betty.
love.
It would have been great.
I could have.
That's why I want to stay late, because like people were partying until 2 a.m. and then like
I could have ruled
kind
it.
of rolling in slowly the next day, all
Yeah,
hungover.
we would have stayed. Mike and I were on board to staying, but like you came up to us and were like, "We gotta go."
Yeah, I
I'm a
killed the party. I was like, hey, I'm really sleepy and I'd love to like
I'm a party
start driving
pooper and I
home
don't like
for
this
3 hours.
stuff. So
But guys, how pretty was the drive up? Like, not to get all like
it was
sentimental,
actually
It was great.
really nice. It was
all-
gorgeous.
It's
Yeah, it was
all
gorgeous.
in northern New Jersey, and we went the most scenic route. Like, not even we didn't hit the highways till like the last hour.
From what I remember, it was pretty. I fell asleep.
It was until
Yeah,
finish off the night.
Dan's a sleeper.
They did 2 things that were like very like significant in my brain. Is first one was it was the tribute to Aaron
Yes,
Aaron Mateo, who passed recently. They did a tribute,
amazing.
but the tribute was held inside this timber frame, like what would you call it, a pergola or whatever?
Pergola.
Like
It's a gazebo.
gazebo pergola.
yeah.
Like, but the thing is, when we
They made
pulled
it that
up,
day.
they were framing it out and like drilling it out and cutting it. And at the end of the day, we went over to that side of the resort and we're like, oh, this is where, oh my God, they built it. Like, it's done. And this thing was beautiful. It was just, yeah, it was a nice little send off to a maker in our community. And it was just so great. And just like
Very
seeing
nice.
somebody like build something like that in one day, like a group of people, and a lot of makers help with it, which was amazing. But
It's
after that, you
fantastic.
know, we celebrated. They brought over a Volkswagen bus pickup truck filled with
Oh,
beer.
yes.
They turned into a cooler. And we just like
Full
everyone just hung
of
out and partied and smelled cigar smoke because some people were smoking
drinks.
cigars. And then we headed home, but you know, we still had a blast the last day. It was Sunday. We just kind of relaxed. We did some stuff in the shop. We did a quick live. We started a TikTok, or officially posted on TikTok, with the most wholesome slideshow ever, with the most inappropriate song ever. We figured that's a good way to start. And you know,
And it wasn't.
it wasn't. It was a great weekend, but it was still. Check us out on TikTok. Make sure to follow the Another Woodshop podcast on TikTok. That's where all the raw stuff's
yeah.
gonna go. We're gonna keep it real professional.
Right.
By the way, I love how Instagram became Facebook, where like that's where you keep your professional profile. This is basically a LinkedIn, and then like Instagram
It's
used to be the ratchet
just-
one, and now it's like you keep all that crazy stuff on TikTok.
It's like in its death throes over on Instagram. It's sad. It's real bad.
So aside from that, just to go on like actually what's on my bench. Once the guys left, I've got 3 things that I'm working on. I'm getting my website together. I'm pretty excited. I signed up with Squarespace, so I'm trying to get that out as soon as possible before the holidays. I'm working on a couple of designs and some.
That's a real good idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that going because time is running out. And because it's October, it's basically December as far as like gifts are concerned. Because if people start ordering stuff now,
You're stressing me out.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm doing that. I'm trying to get some other designs out to start printing and stuff for Etsy for the holidays as well. You guys saw my print shop. You know, like I'm trying to keep it busier and busier. I'm also working. I started using. I've been playing around with Monday, Trello, and I've landed now on ClickUp. And I'm trying to use it as like a productivity software. I'm gonna give it a week, see how I feel about it. If I don't like it, I'm gonna try something else. I've just been kind of hopping around, but I keep going back to paper lists. That's the thing that works the best for me. But I'm trying something new out, so I'm gonna see if that actually helps out. And then Mike, I gotta try Jobber. I want to see you like go through a workflow with me one day, see if it's something that might actually help me out.
Do that with you right now.
'Cause,
Hey,
like,
I don't know if this is going to make you guys mad, but if anyone's interested in
I'm
Jobber, I'm an
really
ambassador
mad.
now, and I do have a coupon code
Affiliate
for that.
code.
If anyone wants to see, yeah, if a coupon code,
oh, it's a
affiliate
coupon
for
code,
that.
not an affiliate,
But if
right?
anyone-
like it's actually
It's
money
a coupon.
off.
No,
Yeah.
No, they save for 6 months, like 20% off. So
Nice.
but if anyone is interested in Jobber and wants to, I'll hop on a Zoom call with you and show you how it works. Cause
I want to see
you
it
know,
real
I get
bad.
paid too when you sign up. So, but Pete, I don't know why we didn't do that when I was there. That was stupid. I
We
should
were
have shown you on the computer.
busy just
But
de-stressing and
fun,
hanging
yeah.
out, and
We can
all that.
literally, we can do that. Probably not tomorrow, but we can do that this weekend, I think. So anytime you want, I want to
100%.
show you Jobber. But
Well,
yeah, Jobber
things are kind of slowing
is-
down for you too. Like the move's done-ish. You know, well, not slowing down.
Yeah, I
but
just
like,
need to
but
get
you're
my
not
shopping
moving.
around,
You're at
but
least
yeah.
you're there and busy.
Yeah.
You know, you're at one location and
Yeah, I
busy,
can't
not
really-
driving half an
I'm
hour
hamstringed.
6 times a day.
I'm hamstrung until I get this power up and running. I just feel, but I can work on this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, if anyone's interested in Jobber and wants to check it out, actually, well, anyway, Pete, Dan, is it cool if we throw my link in the show notes?
Yeah,
Do
I'll
it.
throw it in the show notes.
Okay.
Do
All
it,
right.
buddy.
Well, we'll throw it in the description down below in the show notes for the link for that. So, anyway, if anyone wants to check that out, let me know. But yeah, Pete, sorry, I didn't mean to
No, that's fine.
hijack
No,
your
plug it.
wrap up on your
Here's the
week
thing.
So
It's yes, you work with them, but it's something that really works well for you. And I know a couple other makers now that actually
for
use
me,
it.
it's amazing.
It seems to work really
Yeah.
well because if you're trying to convert a quote or a time frame or like a list of to-do tasks to a job or vice versa, it seems to be the thing to do. Because I'm unable to do that with some of the stuff. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I'm playing around with ClickUp, trying it out. Aside from that, I'm just working on like boring household stuff that I don't even want to make content around. It's literally old scrap plywood from like the shelves that used to be in my trailer. I'm making cabinets in my shed for storage, and I'm cleaning stuff up. I'm making dumpster runs. I'm filling up my trailer with a bunch of junk. And then my parents' house got listed today. They already got an offer. Those chumps try to go under asking. Get out of here. Trash. Jersey trash. Get
not
out
the
of
right
here.
market.
Yeah, so, but we showed the house to 8 different people today, or the realtors did. 8 different people. We got more showings tomorrow and Saturday, hopefully.
That's
Like,
crazy.
Mike, it's going to be like
8 on the first day.
first day. Yeah, so there's 8
That's
different showings.
insane.
And it's like, I'm the approver for the thing. So they message me through like some registration app and it says like, requested this time. And I go, why or and, depending on yes or no. And it just books it. And I throw it on my calendar. So today, my parents basically hung out here for like 5 hours because they had people in their house for most of the day. I just want to get this thing sold for them ASAP. Same thing for Mike. I want him to sell that house, get the most amount of money. Same thing for my parents, and just move on to the next chapter. You know, like you said, Mike, it's like, it's not like just like, oh, get rid of that place. It's more just like, let's move on to the next thing. The next big
Yeah, I
thing.
just want to move on to the next
Heck
thing in
yeah.
life.
But that's
All
been
right,
my
let's
week. Let's jump into some questions. All those questions that we got.
Yep.
All 2.
So we got this first question's from Adam. It's not even, we already talked about it. So here we'll do it real quick, but he's basically going to ask us to talk about Maker Camp. But here's Adam's question.
Hey guys, Adam here from Barnett Custom Woodworks. So Maker Camp looked amazing. What was your favorite moment? Can't wait to hear.
I'll take this one first. It was amazing. Pete?
My
I'll
favorite
take
part.
this one.
No, my favorite part, and this is going to be a little anti-COVID and whatever, but like I missed handshakes so much. Handshakes, hugs. I hugged so many people. This was, by the way, for
Yes.
everyone listening, this
Yes.
is all outside. You know, it was as safe as you can get being outside, but it was, you know, it wasn't that packed with people, but just, I hugged so many makers that I genuinely love. I talk to every day. It is so great. Shaking hands and actually like having that genuine connection with people. I've missed that so freaking much. And like, you know, I'm trying to be as safe as possible. I work in the healthcare industry. Like I get all that, but like, it was just nice to kind of, I hate to put it this way, but kind of not pretend, but like be a little oblivious to it because we were outside. It was, you know, cooler weather, it was a nice breeze. It just felt like very nice to be able to connect with people and feel like everything's normal again. Mike.
Already went.
Oh, that's it? It was just awesome.
No,
Your
no,
favorite
it was
part?
awesome. I mean, just
What's your favorite part? The Dementors?
no,
Was it that?
I really
The
the Mentos. No, the whole thing was just, it's really, I mean, it really was awesome, Adam. I mean, it really is amazing. Like things like that. It is not like Workbench Con is kind of tainted by a bunch of people who want to get like contracts with brands. It's also kind of tainted with, there's like, sometimes it's like almost a bit of a high school feel in some parts of Workbench Con.
Yes.
There's some cliques and people that are like kind of talking bad about other people and stuff, and it's really childish. Not this. Maker Camp was, it was a bunch of people who just loved making stuff. So
And brands
I think
just happened to
Workbench
be
Con-
there. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, there were brands there. That wasn't the front and center. They were just the brands that were there were the ones that really like to support the community. You can tell that they were there. I mean, not that the brands that go to Workbench Con aren't, but at Workbench Con, it's more about influencers than makers, and Maker Camp is more about makers than influencers. So that's the difference. It was just a great event. So it's a bit more pure, and it was great. Dan?
I want to echo everything that Mike said. It was fantastic. And I really enjoyed meeting everybody and actually interacting with people in person. And like Pete said, giving actual hugs or high fives or fist bumps or handshakes. It just felt really good. It was so good. I can't put my finger on like one thing.
It was the most wholesome event I may have probably ever been at.
So great. Like we were only there for one day, obviously. But from like start to finish, it was fantastic, and I can't put my finger on one thing.
Totally.
And I can't wait to go back next year and do like a whole weekend.
It's the first time I ever heard somebody be excited to go back to Jersey.
No,
we're gonna go to East. We're gonna go to East Durham.
Yeah, it's upstate New
Flying
York.
to JFK, straight to East Durham.
Calm down.
Yeah, we're gonna LaGuardia or whatever.
Just Uber to East Durham.
Good luck. $1,800 later. This next question is from Whiskey Sloth Woodworks. He has this to ask.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy with Whiskey Sloth Woodworks. Any of you ever think it's a good idea to practice your knife throwing against a CA glue bottle? Yeah, I figured it was just me. Anyway, now that I've done that, it never fails. I need to use my CA glue bottle, and it leaks all over my hands. What do you guys use, or what household method do you guys do to get CA glue all off your hands so you can use your hands again and practice your knife throwing? Thanks, guys. Bye.
Dan?
Acetone. I think that's the only thing that. All right.
Oh, don't nothing else, Pete. No, it's joking. It's like such a short answer. One word.
No, Pete.
One word.
Pete.
No, Dan.
What is acetone?
I'm joking.
Oh,
I actually didn't know that, and Dan told. Oh my gosh, Dan! The guys told me that. I actually joked in the pre-show that it's acetone, but apparently that does work. I actually didn't know that, but it makes sense. I mean, it breaks it down. So I just usually leave it on my hands.
Will remove your fingertips. If
Your
you want
tips
to
will be
rob a
gone.
bank,
Just the tips.
rob a bank.
Rabobank. There's a place out here called Rabobank. RABOBANK. No joke. Rabobank. Well, Whiskey Sloth, don't say we never did anything for you, because we answered that question.
You still need to toss it to Pete. Pete has an answer.
Oh, didn't Pete say acetone? And that's the only way for him to get off? Oh, Pete, sorry. I thought you answered.
No. I never tried this, but I've heard nail polish remover or polish remover.
That's
acetone.
Which is a sin in my house.
All right, next.
No, but I honestly,
Oh no, Dan's falling apart.
I'm very much into, like, if I ever have acetone or super glue on my hands, CA glue, whatever, like, I just leave it on there. Just with time, it just goes away. Like one day you just off. It's like when you burn your tongue. It like you realize like, oh, I don't taste my coffee for like this whole 2 days or whatever, and then one day you're like, oh, I feel things again. That's exactly it. Just
no, that's COVID.
I feel emotions.
I feel emotions. Be a man.
I feel something's wrong here. I don't know
why.
What?
I don't know.
What is it?
Something's off. Something's off with Pete's description. I don't know.
Is everything okay at home, Dan?
I don't know.
I'm gonna hold up a doll. I want you to show me where Kayla touched you. No, it's not the
zero places.
Show me on Kayla where the doll touched you.
I feel like I'm being attacked right now. Stop this.
That's actually it for questions. Should we talk more about Maker Camp?
Well, I was, but you guys
No,
were like wrapping me
let's
up. I
not.
felt so bad.
Oh no, keep going. Pete.
Maker
Sorry, I didn't
Camp
know-
was
no, no, no.
amazing.
Maker Camp was amazing. What else do we have to add? I mean, Pete's house was so
The
great.
steaks,
Emma was so sweet.
The ribs.
The steaks were good. We think we talked about all that.
Have we talked about on this show? Have we talked about what's coming up on the 28th? Have we
Yes,
talked
we
about
did.
that?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned
Dan's
it.
had a lot to drink.
Yeah.
I don't. Drink.
Jimmy
This is bold.
the Resta is going to be of NBC's making it, and also
Jimmy
the
of
rest of the
the
internet.
rest of fame.
yeah. Jimmy the Rastafarian is going to be on the show on the 28th, and we're all trying to be really cool about it.
Jacked.
We're like, oh yeah, Jimmy's going to be on. That's cool.
T's
It's
are Jade.
it's pretty standard. It's no
We're
big
all
deal.
definitely not wetting our pants and super excited. I definitely didn't faint almost when I saw
Well, hey,
that
look-
he followed me on Instagram.
I'm gonna be 100% sober for that show.
So listen, with that being said, though, guys, we really want to have a bunch of questions from you guys for that show. Actually, in fact, the whole show format is going to be we're probably going to forego the what's on my bench other than some real quick.
Probably going to interview him a little bit more.
Shooting the breeze with Jimmy a bit. Yeah, it'll be more of an interview style. But we really find that when we have guests on here, if we're all kind of like tackling a subject, like answering questions, it really helps out. So he's not going to be on for 2 weeks, but that gives us more time to get questions in here for him. So if you don't know something about Jimmy and you want to know something about Jimmy, get those questions in. Or if you have a question for someone, or if you have a question for any of us, but if you have a question that you think Jimmy might have a good answer to, get them in. We'll save them for that episode. We'd love to have just a long line of questions. We'd like to be able to, have to pick and choose a few of them and not have to be like, oh,
true.
we get Jimmy on the show.
No favorite
and,
wood.
There's one question.
None of that.
Yeah. Don't come in
Jimmy,
here with
what
that
is your favorite wood?
Because keep in mind, like
don't
Jimmy
come in here with
is,
that. How do you get CA glue off your fingers? None
Well,
of
he
this
might
stuff.
you might have a really good answer.
Yeah, he's been around a while.
But like Jimmy's, he's not just a woodworker. He is like I like to call him like the godfather of
He's a
making.
maker.
He's a maker. He's literally all about making, restoring old tools.
The
You
Godfather.
show him a godfather of making, and you show him an old tool, and he'll tell you exactly like what it is, how to fix it, all that. He had this giant bandsaw there with
Oh,
this like
it's
comically
fantastic.
small blade on it, which is kind of funny. But I was like,
He was
I asking
making
him 'cause he was
swords.
shaking a lot, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the main wheel is not meant for anything this high speed, so it wobbles a little bit." I was like, "Oh, that's not original?" He's like, "No, but a lot of this isn't." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, that's from this, that's a new motor."
I got some
that's just
great
whatever."
photos of him trying to
Oh my god.
juggle swords, which is
Yeah,
fantastic.
which, by the way, all the photos, he definitely did not do any juggling. I mean, he definitely juggled, but all the photos look
the
like
photos
he's like
I have
mid-juggle.
of him juggling
Yes.
looks like he's juggling.
Like he's
And that's
actually
all that
juggling.
matters.
I remember looking at those photos. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. Jimmy's gonna be happy. By the way, the photo you sent was very funny.
Well,
And, well, speaking of photos, Mark Adams.
That's not that photo wasn't supposed to be funny.
Yo, Mark Adams though.
Sweet photo.
He took some pretty dope photos of everyone.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
really
absolutely.
top 3 photographers of the whole trip: Mark Adams, Daniel Dunlap, Emma Pressman, Kapar. Got married.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because Dan kept handing the camera to Emma.
Dave Mao did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Photos, I thought.
He
He
did,
was there?
actually. Oh my
No,
god.
no. Let's not do this on the show.
All right,
No,
so
wait,
that's
wait,
it.
let's at least
That's
say the
it for
part
the
that-
show.
No, the actual
Thanks
part
for
where
showing up.
KJ Sawdust may have confused him for Bow.
So I'm actually going to bring this up since we kind of like
Please
we're running
do.
early, but
Please do. This is actually
I was laughing
this is
so
a
hard at this
really
story.
funny
Well,
story.
this starts a while back. So Dave, 3D DIY Dave, really great dude.
Go follow
He's
him if you
a
don't.
hobbyist. He's a hobbyist, and he doesn't do this for a living, so he does this to enjoy his life away from his job.
Also,
he
did
does for a
not
living.
realize how
Anyway.
awesome he is outside of woodworking and stuff. But
Making.
that's for another story.
Anyway, I've gotten to talk to Dave over the year and a half or whatever on Instagram, and this is so embarrassing. So I use a software called Shaper, and Dave owns a Shaper Origin.
Same thing.
So I
No,
was picking up
two
Shaper.
totally different things.
They're not the same at all. The Shaper Origin is a piece of hardware, and Shaper is a piece of software. And I use Shaper to design things in. Anyways, I messaged Dave. Dave is of Asian descent. He's an Asian American. He's an extremely great guy. I start talking to him and I'm asking him about Shaper, and he starts answering, but like kind of like I wasn't like quite sure about the answer. And then I start asking more questions. He's like, "Hey, are you talking about Shaper, the 3D design software?" I'm like, "Yeah, you were just showing about this the other day." And he's like, I've never used that software before. I have a Shaper Origin. He's like, "Are you talking about Alex Fang with Devilish Creations?" Also another Asian American person.
Oh.
And very embarrassing conversation. But that's how Dave and my relationship started, was me accidentally profiling him.
Yeah, you
like
should
a
have seen my
racist.
guilt hanging out with him the whole trip to make up for that one day.
That's not funny. First of all, Pete,
I'm
that is
kidding,
not
I'm
true.
kidding.
I legitimately really like Dave.
No,
Dave
now is one of my
that is
favorite
not funny.
people. Like
Dave, that's a lie. First of all, he's not one of your favorite people.
we hung out
but
with like the
he is-
same like 10 people the whole trip because there are like top 10.
Dave is great.
Yeah.
So Dave is a business owner. He's a small business owner. And we mostly the whole time talked about owning small business and talking about like pricing structures and stuff. He is an expert in his field, I'll say. I don't know anyone else in this field, but talking to him, you can tell he knows what he's talking about. But anyway, that's how we first met, really got our relationship kicked off. Is me, which is really dumb of me. It was truly and honestly an innocent mistake, because I know Alex Fang. He's a great guy. He's who I learned about Shaper from. But when I was first learning about Shaper, I was getting confused because I was thinking of Shaper, the hardware, and Shaper, the software. Fast forward to like a year or so, or whenever it was, we get to Maker Camp. We arrive in the morning. Dave gets there. We start telling everyone about the joke about me thinking he was Alex Fang from Devilish Creations, which if you don't follow Alex Fang from Devilish Creations, another amazing follow. That guy is awesome. Really great stuff. Really great cinematography. Very smart guy.
True.
Anyway, we're talking about that, making fun of me for, what's truly innocent, but really on the surface is a really horrible thing to have happen. But then we fast forward like a few hours to the middle of the day. Keith Johnson shows up, KJ Sawdust, and then he's talking to everyone, and then he goes and talks over. And he thought that Dave was Bao from Bao Loy from Designcraft.
And he did a story and called him out on it. And Val had a blast. Meanwhile, I remember we're all eating lunch, our very mediocre lunch, and we're talking about that story, and I just nudged Dave and I go, "Dude, I loved your folding staircase, dude."
This is a very slippery slope.
It just went downhill from there. But
anyway,
the best part, you're omitting the best part of the story, which has almost nothing to do with the story, but is the same story. We literally walk into what is Maker Camp. The first interaction that the three of us have with a human being is Dan doing like the airport holler at someone. He thinks it's freaking Tyler from Wooden Whiskers down in Florida.
Whiskers, yeah.
Tyler just like shouting randomly, and then the guy is just like looking, and then it clicked in his brain, so he was like, he just smiles at us.
What's up, guys?
And he comes over, he's like, "I'm Shane, by the way. You're not the first one that did that." Apparently, they look the same. They did a photo with Mark Adams, a very similar. It's just
Tyler.
Hey, Tyler. But like they had a very similar.
No, it was
thing.
It was great. We hop out of the car. Jackman tries to run us over. That was good.
Oh,
He
that
literally
was like
tries to run us over.
right off the bat.
With
Paul
Pat Lapp as the
Jackman and
witness.
Pat Lapp tried to run us over.
It was good times. This is a really, really well.
Super.
Well,
fun.
hey, let's
We're
wrap
not
this
wrapping
thing
it.
up.
We're
Huh?
under an hour. We're gonna keep going.
Oh, I know, but I want to see my wife. She's leaving in the morning.
See her every day. But
I
no,
have
there's one
to-
other thing I want to.
I have to go to number one.
And it's kind of on the same subject.
No,
but
you have to wait now.
Like me and Dan especially were like Mike is very good
I
at
have to wait, you
remembering
have to wait.
names and faces and everyone like he makes connections in his brain. Me and Dan do not. Like we know all these people, we associate either the brand or the name or the face, but we can't put all three together. So like meeting everyone, and we aren't the only ones that were having this issue. It's just like it's hard to remember everyone. Sometimes somebody will be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they start talking, and then they hand you a sticker, like you do the sticker swap, and you go, "Oh, I know, like I know exactly who you are. We talk every day." But it's
Jimmy
like,
DeResta.
but they might not do. Yeah, like he never does
I'm
stories face in his face. Yeah, but like some people don't do stories. Some people don't post their face. Some people post their face, but that's what you know them for more than the brand itself. So everyone was really cool about that, and it was really nice to meet everyone and like really get to know them. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Just to kind of button up that all the stories of people confusing each other. It was really nice to meet
Yeah, it was
everyone
great.
and figure out like who's who and really get a vibe. I'm like, oh,
Super
none
cool.
of you are gonna murder me. That's great. All the crazies stayed home.
Maybe.
No, you're right. Jimmy was there.
It was
He's a real shifty fella.
Yeah, shit.
bottom line, it was a great weekend.
It was one of the
Really
most
great.
wholesome events I've ever been to. I'll say it again. Like it's great.
True.
Yep.
5 Dans out of 5 Dans.
All right.
All right.
Let's
All right.
big
That's
thanks to
that's a measure of things.
our... Big. Are we good, Pete? Are you okay with us wrapping this up?
Yeah, I'm trying to stretch it out a bit for our patrons, and also I'm really excited about the maker camp, the camp of makers. Anyways,
It's awesome.
wrap it up.
It's done.
Big thanks to our patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the support. Big thanks to the listeners, all the listeners. You guys are incredible. We do the show literally for you. I mean, we don't, we probably would still do this if no one listened, honestly, because it's kind of like
True.
our therapy, I think, for the three of us. But, we love that you guys share the show. Again, I iterate, Jimmy will be on the show on the 28th. Please, we are going to share that on our stories and stuff. Please also share that and tag Jimmy. Show him how excited you are. We really
28th
appreciate that.
of October.
October. Yes, October 28th.
2021.
Did I say November?
No,
Did I say
I just
November?
wanted to
Okay.
really nail that down.
Thank you. Yeah. People could listen late, but we're gonna start sharing it, pimping that in the social media. Please help us get that out there too. We'd really appreciate it. We'd like it to be. a
There
big show
will be
with
no
Jimmy.
pre-show that week.
No, there won't be a pre-show.
Oh no.
We won't do a pre-show. No, we'll go. We're gonna have I think we're gonna do a long recording with him. He does 2 podcasts, both Making It and Fits All podcast. And I'm pretty sure
the
Fits All
All.
goes like 3 hours.
Ooh.
So he's good for a long podcast. So I think it'd be really great. Please get us those questions for him. We will obviously come to the table with our own questions, but we want your guys' questions as well. We want it to be. It's not a lot of times we get to sit down with Jimmy DeResta. So let's make it worth it for all of our time. But yeah, that'll be 10/28 2021 starting at whatever 6 p.m. probably Pacific. So 6, 8, 9. But anyway,
let's really nail it down here.
Yeah, share the show. Jimmy's kind of sometimes known for being a little late to things, so it might be a different time. We don't know. We'll see. So he's a very busy guy. He's got a lot of plates spinning at once. So we'll see what happens, but it'll be that same day from what I understand. Share the show. Go check out
Show.
all of us on social media. Check out our TikToks. Check out our Instagrams. Check out our YouTube.
Send some
check
good
out our Etsy
questions.
stores. Yes, get us some good questions. Get us those reviews. We love you guys so much. We thank you so much. We hope that you will be at the next Maker Camp. If you're a listener and you're a maker and you love doing this, go to the Maker Camp. It was so great meeting people there that knew us from the podcast. I mean, that's really amazing. Like this
So
podcast
It was-
is a community within itself.
It was pretty
And-
it was pretty insane. Like
Overwhelming.
having people like walk up and say, "Hey, I love the show," and I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
And I know that
It's
sounds
overwhelming.
bad, but like
No,
it boggles the mind.
but it's cool to meet them like almost again in person. Be like, oh my god,
Yes.
like yes, hi, yes, we've
Oh,
talked. Like
I do the thing on the internet, and you know me. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, hi, hey,
It was awesome.
Much
It was really
exciting.
great. So we'll
hey.
stop blabbering on about it.
Yep.
We appreciate you guys very much. Thank you so much. We will be back next week for our regularly scheduled show, and we can't wait to do it. Looking forward to it. We'll talk
Wait.
to you guys soon. Pete has
wait,
something else.
Mike.
What's up?
I feel like I just want to stall to hit exactly 1 hour on a recording, but maybe this is futile. maybe it's not
Bro,
worth it.
I have to urinate.
Dan is
so
about
bad.
to pop. That's honestly just adding to the entertainment.
I'm gonna pop.
And okay, you know what, Dan? Okay, fine. All right, goodbye. All right, bye. All right, 1 hour.
Oh,
Okay,
there
bye,
it is.
guys.
Love you, bye.
Bye,
There
bye,
it is.
bye. Bye, bye.
Hey, love you long
Bye.
time.
Love you a long time. Bye.
Love you a long time. Bye. Kill it.